Hello, boys and girls. Hi, it's Cory and Sandy back to talk a little bit about the Cyber Rodeo. It was quite an experience. I really and truly was overwhelmed by the response that I got from the Tesla people, from the Tesla employees, from the people that were just there looking at the fairgrounds. All these different pubs and taverns that we went to, I'm telling you what, I thought I was going to have a stroke or something. I can't remember squat. So Cory is going to, and this is all live, first time. We're not going to do 85 shoots and a million edits. Cory's going to relay things, and hopefully I'll remember what happened when. So anyhow, bear with us.
Yeah. So I'm going to take a step back and go through the genesis of why we even went. So it was about 4 or 5 weeks ago, I talked with Eric and I said, hey, we should head down to Austin, Texas. And we actually had no plans. We didn't have an invite to the Cyber Rodeo. We didn't have an invite to any events. Sandy wasn't invited to speak. So we created a little post and we put it on Twitter and Instagram. I think Eric probably popped that up, saying that you were going to be in Texas from the 6th to the 9th. And lo and behold, our schedule filled completely up. We had events that first day. So first, let's talk about the airport and the plane. How many times do you get recognized in the airport and on the plane?
A fair number, yeah. I would say that I can't really travel in any airport or go on any aircraft without getting somebody saying, hey, can I get a picture or an autograph? I saw your YouTubes, blah, blah, that kind of stuff. So it's very rare, but it's not overwhelming.
Yeah. So we land on Wednesday the 6th. And
who surprised Sandy at the airport?
Oh, your wife.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, now that was a surprise. Okay, so my wife, Susan, is not a fan of COVID, and so consequently, we don't go to restaurants. We never go to any kind of gatherings. She likes to keep her door closed. She has her own office, and she likes to keep her door closed. And quite frankly, when I came on the plane, there she was sitting in a seat next to where I was supposed to be sitting, and I was shocked. So here's how an excited husband was supposed to react. Oh, honey, I'm so glad you're here. How did Sandy react? What are you doing here? Okay, so Sue definitely was, deflated right from the get-go. She was hoping that, I was going to be a little bit more enthusiastic or something, but it was such a shock to see her that I reacted badly.
Yeah. We were all in on it. So I had known for 3 or 4 weeks. So did Kim, your personal secretary, and Eric knew. We all knew. She even drove separate. So here I wake up at 5 in the morning. I drive to Sandy's house. I pick him up. Sue's standing there in the doorway waving, and drove separate. So we really wanted to surprise you.
Oh, you did.
And
it got the reaction that normally happens when I'm really surprised. I go deadpan. And I was sure shocked, and it was great to have her with me. I mean, after I got over the original shock of, oh my God, she's here. How do I keep her safe? How am I going to keep her from getting COVID? Her sister's got COVID. Oh my God, what am I going to do? This is going to be a tough road, but anyway, it worked out great. She didn't come to all the events. I'm glad she came to the ones that she did come to.
So let's run through the first day. We land in Austin. The airport's only 15 minutes from downtown. We get a ride there. We're at the Hilton, but we couldn't check in. So we went to get lunch, and the first people we meet, we actually get a text like, hey, come visit us on South Congress Street, so a little south of where we were. And there was a group of people eating lunch at this outdoor patio. There's a guy named Joel from the big strong-looking guy from Australia.
Yeah.
There was Bradford from Indianapolis, then Anwar Beck and Matt from the Austin Tesla Club were there to meet us, as well as 2 people with the Dogecoin car. So
Yes.
explain that first meetup.
Okay, so first of all, Anwar Beck is my hero. That guy really helped us out a lot. He was excited to have us there, and you can't be anything but excited when you're around this guy. He's quite the character. Anyway, so but the car, it's a McLaren, which you don't see too often. But when you've seen the car covered in Dogecoin, or dog's heads, if you like, and then she's got an outfit on that's all Doge, and then he's got her boyfriend, husband,
Yeah.
I'm not sure which. Anyway, he's got an outfit that's kind of like reminiscent of
The 80s?
no, the 60s. That was like that was a true hippie outfit. I don't know, and he changed his clothes like 4 or 5 times. So
Wow.
it was amazing. By the way, I can't remember the name of the restaurant we went to, but one of the things that I can tell you absolutely for sure, the best chicken sandwich I've ever had, ever. I'm normally a big Chick-fil-A guy, but this thing was even better than Chick-fil-A. I could not believe how good that sandwich was. That was the best meal we had on this trip.
It was a free meal, so Anwar, Beck, and Matt picked that up for us. It was very kind of them. But Sandy, describe your sunburn on your forehead.
Yeah.
You were in between both umbrellas.
Yes, I was. I'm probably the most susceptible to getting sunburns. I am really the white guy in the crowd, and so it was shady here and it was shady there, and the umbrellas went around like this, but nothing came with me except for the sun. And I wanted to be polite. Everybody else was having a good time, so I didn't want to mess around, but I got fried. So currently my skin is peeling off. And I did not bring aloe vera with me, so yeah. So if you look at some of the pictures, I got white eyes, and because I had sunglasses on, and everything else is bright red. Yeah.
So if you have ever watched some of the earlier videos, I oftentimes got complaints that the white balance was off. No, it's usually Sandy with sunburn. That's why he's red. So
Yeah.
not a big deal.
Nah.
So from there, we go back to the hotel, we check in, and there's a big meetup at a place called the Clive Bar. Now this Clive Bar was about a 5-minute walk from our hotel. We showed up a little bit late. When did we get there? At 7? It started at 5. We got there at about 6:30 or 7.
6:30 or 7, something like that. Yeah.
But thank God, because you walked one foot in the door, and you got stopped by a mob of people. I took a ton of photos. I mean, it was
Wow.
incredible. Everybody there was there for this event. Well, either whether or not they had tickets or not. So describe the people you talked to. I mean, it was...
Well, what I really have to describe is what happened. I remember everything crystal clear up until the time that I walked through the door. And I have never experienced anything like this before in my life. I walked through the door, and there was probably around 200,
300.
well, I mean, in the hallway, in the initial part, I'm guessing there must have been around 200 people there. I'm good at guessing size of crowds that were just standing there, and all of a sudden, everybody started applauding and whatnot. Everybody started to say, Sandy, Sandy, and that's it. Now I can't remember. I was totally blown away. I've never had anything like that before. I can't begin to tell you how it affected my mind. Cory said that I probably took 1,000 pictures or had.
Over the course of the whole trip, I think it's a conservative estimate that anywhere from 700 to 1,200 different people had their picture taken with you. Because I documented a small portion of that just for posterity, so that when we got back, people actually believed the stories. And your wife was with you, able to witness this firsthand, particularly, but only on the last day. She wasn't at the Clive Bar.
At the Clive, yeah.
Sandy, a clip of you dancing with Anwar Beck made it onto Fox Business News. So,
yeah.
Matt from the Tesla Club of Austin was interviewed on Fox Business, and he mentioned your name, and a little clip of you was played. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And so that was crazy. And then Eric, he was real thrilled there, essentially your bodyguard and paparazzi. And you were so busy, even I was getting an occasional person or
No,
two.
you were getting more than occasional. You were getting tons, and it would have been normal. What you got was what I would normally get in a crowd. But but I can tell you for sure because I could see you mobbed in little corners and whatnot.
Yeah. Now,
but Eric kind of like muscled his way through everything.
A couple people mistaked Eric for Ben Lindemood.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
this is the beard.
It's a better looking Ben Lindemood. Yeah, that's what they said. Yeah.
So I mean, the point of this video is not just to revel about the rock star treatment that you got. It was just to really out of appreciation for all the people who came up and talked to us. If you got a chance to talk to Sandy or I and you want to reach out, feel free to email us at the email or contact information here, and we'd like to hear from you. Because sometimes we don't have time to talk to everybody. And then when we got you out of the Clive Bar, it was funny. Eric and I decided to rush you out Secret Service style, where we almost ran so that no one could get a word in edgewise. And we ran you out of the building. We got you out on the steps, and then there was another 10 or 15 people there that took pictures with you.
Yeah.
So the next day was Thursday. All we had was the Cyber Rodeo. But technically, we didn't get our official invite until
2 hours before.
About
it's on my phone.
2 hours before for the QR code, and about 4 or 5 hours before for the email that Sandy got.
But here's the thing, I have to thank one of the guys that I know at Tesla, Rich Otto. He got us the stuff. I mean, there was a lot of people trying and saying that they have connections with Elon Musk. There's at least a half a dozen people said, "Oh, I got him on speed dial," or "I can text him right now," or whatever. Well, I'm pretty sure that Elon Musk was kind of busy, but Rich got me in, or got us in, and not only that, it was like one person plus, and we wound up with two. So when I heard that there was tens of thousands of people showing up for the Cyber Rodeo at the Gigafactory, we had to make a choice, and Sue absolutely flat out wasn't interested in going to some place where there's maybe 1,500, 2,000 people. Or sorry, 15,000 people. So Eric was delighted to come, and so then Eric picked out our wardrobe.
Oh yeah, Cyber Rodeo had so many people that our ticket actually said we had to meet at the Austin Convention Center and take a bus there. So I'm thinking we'd get there and there'd be a couple little shuttle buses. We get there, and there has to be no less than 50 or 80,
I'd
100.
say more than that, maybe 100.
Full-size tour buses.
Yeah.
Full-size tour buses. And now I know why. It wasn't for the slow trickle in. It was for the mass exodus out.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want people waiting. So some industrial engineer probably did the math and correctly figured out how many buses they would need to make sure people didn't have to wait too long at the end.
Well, I'm telling you, what I saw, we got on a bus, was completely full, and then we took off. And when we got there, I could see that there was buses coming in back of us. They were completely full. They only had one loading area, but they got everybody on. It was like regimented. It was very quick. It was really efficient and effective. Typical Tesla.
Yeah. So we walk in. We got there around 4:15, 4:30. We didn't want to be the first people there. And once again, the Sandy's stardom inhibited our ability to get through that building quickly. And we struggled to make it 10 feet at a time, trying to take pictures and see all of the gigacastings that were displayed. Eric and I took 0 pictures of ourselves or each other in there. So we get done, and Eric's like, "Hey, did you take any pictures of me?" Nope. and he didn't take any of me, and I know you didn't take any pictures of us.
Well, you did take the one video where we're looking at each
Yeah,
other's
that's about
shirts
it.
and stuff like that, but I didn't take any pictures. I couldn't get my phone out of my pocket.
We were truly there in a workman-like manner, trying to, as quickly as possible, work from station to station because I wanted to see the batteries. So that's really the first thing of
and that's
substance we got to. So what?
So we stood in a line for about an hour waiting to get upstairs. And so in the little bag of tricks, it says there's 2 floors, when in actuality there's 4. And when you go upstairs, you get a chance to see some of the battery stuff, but there's a second set of stairs if you want to have the real detailed look. And then there's a 4th floor where the batteries are put together, or the battery cells are put together, and that was off limits. So I got a chance to talk to quite a few of the Tesla engineers, managers, and in some cases I'm guessing directors. It was really phenomenal at how many Tesla people actually watch our channel, and had good things to say about it.
Even about the positive or negative things that we say. So not only all the positive stuff. So we were there really to, not necessarily to enjoy the party, but to see if we could, glean anything off of what Tesla's doing with their future. And one thing that was apparent to me is the size and scale of that facility and the ability for it to be modified in the future, because they had no conveyor system overhead.
Yeah.
They had nothing in the floor. And I've been to probably a half dozen engineering plants in the past decade supporting many large OEMs. They're typically dingy, dirty, dark. Even the cleanest ones, they're just clearly laid out from some sort of 30, 40, 50 years ago.
Or longer.
Or longer. And there's always compromises everywhere. And one thing that struck me was I didn't see, it was laid out without any compromises in mind. And with the future in mind, to allow it to produce, you said 750,000. I think that plant can produce 1 million vehicles.
Yeah, that's
500,000 of each.
I think 500,000 of the Model Y is what they're projecting right now, and 500,000. When I first looked at the plant, when I first walked in, I said, "Wow, this is huge. There's got to be 1 million square feet," and that's what I could see. At the end of the day, after I went through everything, I said, "This has got to be about 10 million," and I found out it's 11 million. 11 million square feet. That makes it the biggest plant, single plant under one roof in North America. I know of nothing. I've called up everybody I can. Nobody else knows of a plant that's got that much in the way of manufacturing square footage. So I, based on that, initially I thought maybe about 500,000 would be a good start. Then when we were talking at the conference, I said, I think that it can ramp up to 750,000. And then when someone told me how, or somebody asked a question or shouted something out from the audience that said that there was, I can't even remember, but quite a few Cybertrucks that have already been put on order, then I said, well, if they switch things around a little bit, they could probably get 1 million out of that factory. That definitely would be astounding, because with all the vertical integration that they've got, that eats up quite a bit of floor space, but it's so well put together. I mean, just looking at the batteries, you start on the 3rd floor or 4th floor. So somehow they've got freight elevators or something that's bringing raw materials up. They put the battery cells together, they get them all done, they drop them straight down. They go straight down and they're going straight into what? Oh, they go into the battery packs. They go into the battery packs, they're all completed up. The battery pack moves over a little bit, straight down. Everything was made just so. If you're going to have a multi-level factory, having that kind of a scenario where the product comes down, the lightest parts come down to the heaviest parts, that was Henry Ford all over the place. And that's the way to really make a multi-level factory work. I was totally blown away with that part. And then the illustrations that they had, the illustration of, unrolling the battery so you can see what's going on and whatnot. And then the statistics, 50% less floor space, to produce that battery versus the 2170. That all these things come together.
The body shop as well.
Body shop was extraordinary. Yeah.
With 2 gigacastings, I know we accidentally called them mega castings 2 years ago. The 2 gigacastings, that also Elon said that reduces the size of the body shop by a huge amount. And they had
at least 30%.
They had these really cool displays that we got a bunch of images of and videos of where it showed the old and the new design. So they had ingots hanging in the air, right over the top of the cast part, and then they had all the pieces in an exploded view over the old style, and just incredible. And I know, Sandy, earlier today you mentioned that we should look back to 2018 when you made a bunch of recommendations on what Tesla should and could do. Not necessarily prognostications, but just some advice. And we're seeing a lot of that come to fruition.
Yeah.
Particularly with the structural battery pack, the gigacastings, and now moving forward, look how far behind other OEMs are. I know it's a touchy subject, but my God.
Well, actually, one of the things that I want to do is, I know we said we're not going to put in any inserts and whatnot, but I was given some really, really clear, crisp, beautiful shots. Ours were kind of like bluish and whatnot because of the lighting. This guy had this $10,000 camera, and he had shots of the
earlier in the day.
Earlier in the day.
Yeah.
So I think we should pop those in so people can have a look at it. That really illustrates how much of a difference there is. I mean, think of all those little dies that you're going to have in place. Think about just the scrap metal. Just think about the off-all. Off-all is the scrap that comes when you stamp a part. Think about that. All that disappears with the giga castings, and we call them mega castings. That was when it was just a quarter, right? A quarter of the car.
Yeah.
So now giga makes more sense. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then having the structural and having the battery pack with the seats on it going straight up. Oh my God! This
know.
is just as good as it gets.
You're rubbing it in, Sandy, because you know I owe you a steak dinner. That was the bet. Remember?
I did, but I was waiting for you to bring it up. I didn't want to hurt your feelings.
How about the lamb at Lely's? Very, very good.
The lamb is absolutely one of my favorites, so I'll take it. Either that or we go to the Clausen Steakhouse. It's a longer drive, but you're on your diet, so that means you have to eat a lot of steak.
I am on my diet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Anything else inside of the Cyber Rodeo that really struck you?
Yeah, they're using AGVs now. I don't think we put that in our original video, but the Patreon's got something on the AGV stuff, and I'm really excited to see that because if I want to increase or decrease the amount of production I can put through a factory by utilizing automatic guided vehicles, I can make changes almost instantly. There's a million different ways that I can reconfigure the line. I never have to worry about the tow veer going down or the chains that are overhead getting jammed or locked up or something like that. Because if one of the little AGVs has a problem, it can be pulled off and you can continue with production. If one of the car builds that's on an AGV has a problem, it can be pulled on, fixed, and dropped back in place. It's easy to make things happen with AGVs so that when issues do come about, you can pull them in, put them out. You can increase or decrease your line speeds basically by just over the air. I mean, everything about that makes me excited. And when I looked at the floor and I looked at how much room they had in that area, it's easy to double up capability. So if you're looking at $500,000 to start, it's easy to see how you could crank it, make it a little bit wider, because all it is saw cuts in the floor. No big deal. It's not like I've got to change a conveying system. It's just saw cuts in a floor and a new program that comes again over the air. It's not a big deal. So I was really, really excited to see that. So I really wanted to see the castings. I wanted to see and that's another thing. I wanted to see the electric motor, and they had a display, which nobody knew about. It wasn't advertised. And one of the guys that put the whole thing together said they didn't get one visitor. And I said, well, I didn't even know about it. He said, well, that's the problem. Nobody did. Everything was so rushed and so kind of like helter-skelter kind of a thing that nobody got a chance to see the electric motor, what do you call it, the rotor being manufactured. They had a little...
Where was it?
I have no clue. I don't know. I was talking to the guy and whatnot, but this was after we were wandering out. We were leaving when that was when we found out we couldn't get in to see Elon in his speech. So
it's funny you mentioned that. So we were so behind on filming the different areas that we actually went down to film around the Gigafactory probably about 20 minutes before Elon was supposed to go on stage. We were in the room where Elon gave his speech. We saw the Cybertruck, we saw the Roadster, I don't know, there was the robot in there. Once again, Sandy was getting mobbed. You got interviewed by another YouTuber, Ellie in Space. You don't even remember that? No?
No.
Okay. And so we leave, we decide to go back downstairs, and then by the time we made it all the way back up, they were at capacity for that room. And we really didn't come for the speech because it was live streamed anyways. So we were able to watch that on the other screens. And then the next day, we didn't have anything until Teslacon. So there was a conference on Friday called Teslacon that was put on by Matt and Anwar Beck. So we purposely got there halfway through. I think it started at noon, and we showed up a little after 2:30. Same thing. Everyone wants a picture with Sandy. Everyone wants his autograph. It was kind of dark in there. It was a concert venue. And they had speakers all throughout the day, many other influencers and YouTubers. Sandy went on at 3:15, but before then, we went up to this VIP area, which is really nice, and less people. And I actually, a reporter from Barron's named Al Root, he was there in Austin. He was trying to get into the Cyber Rodeo. He couldn't get in. Traditional media was not invited, and I think that may have had something to do with it. But he ended up being at Teslacon. He's like, hey, are you at Teslacon? I said, yeah, I'm in the VIP area. Can you come up? He's like, oh, I don't have a band. But because Sandy and I knew the organizers of the event, we got him up there. And I talked to Alan for a while. So if you read the Wall Street Journal, Barron's, check out his articles. He's a really nice guy. Sandy, you also met another dozen people up there. I don't even know who. Everybody?
There was a ton of other folks that are YouTubers, and
Joe Justice was there.
Yeah.
Dr. Know-It-All.
Yeah.
Kilowatts. Tesla Joy.
Yeah, Tesla Joy was there. Yeah, I did recognize her because I've seen her picture so many times and whatnot.
Galileo Russell.
Galileo helped us get started, so I definitely know him.
Yeah. And then talk a little bit about your panel you were on. So.
Yeah, so there were three of us. There goes my mind
Faraz
again.
was the moderator.
Faraz was the moderator. Faraz used to be with Tesla, and he is definitely has a deep understanding of everything Tesla, how it works, the culture, everything like that. So he was the moderator. And then Jordan, I can't remember his last name, but...
from The Limiting Factor.
From The Limiting Factor. There you go. Jordan from The Limiting Factor. Anyway, he was the other participant. And so Faraz went back and forth asking questions and making comments and see how we reacted. Yeah. And it was phenomenal. I mean,
crowd was cheering.
Yeah, it's... I was, again, blown away when there's... I don't know how many people were in that room, 500, maybe? 500, 1,000, who knows, a lot of people, and they're all screaming and yelling your name and whatnot. I don't know, it buggers your head up. It really does.
The message you gave was similar to the message that you're talking about here. You talked about your experience there, so we're not going to rehash what you said. But we were getting ready to leave because we had to go to the Tesla Universe meetup thing in downtown Austin, and they asked you to do an encore because one of their participants canceled at the last minute. So David Lee from David Lee Investing was doing a panel at the end, and I think it was from somebody with Tesla, Omid, but he couldn't make it.
Yeah.
So they asked you and another person to be on there with them. And so essentially you came out to an encore, but that meant we stayed there for an additional like 2 hours, which wasn't too bad.
No, that part was just fine. I don't see any reason why we had to rush off, because the Tesla Universe, initially we thought it was some kind of a sit-down dinner, but in actuality it was sliders and and beer and whatnot, which is not bad. But
yeah, so that was our last event. So Tesla Universe was put on by a large group of people. I don't remember Pierre was the main organizer. Eric, help me out here. Who else organized that?
Diana.
Oh, Diana. That was our last event that we promised. And we initially had met Amy Sober, who was our first Tesla group we met up with on our first road trip in West Colorado.
yeah,
So
best
that was best
hamburger
burger, yeah.
on a whole trip.
Yeah.
Without a question of a doubt. And there's nothing even anywhere as close. So it was good to see them again, her and her husband, the Viking. And so that was lots of fun. We had a lot of good times, and Sue actually showed up for that one. So it was fun.
And then the after party, you had called it a night early. The after party was at an Airbnb that group had rented, and it was like a $6 million house in a gated community with a pool and a grotto and a waterfall. It was like 20 feet high. But that's where Eric and I went to round out the trip, and then we flew home the next day.
Yeah. And when I flew home, how many people came up and said, "Oh, I can have your autograph, or can we take a picture?" None.
What?
No, I never got, not one person in the airport or on flying back from Austin.
Oh, but I saw Paul Kay. He came up to me in the airport.
Oh, yeah.
Remember? You were walking. No?
Yeah, I might have been, but I don't.
Okay, never mind. If you're not going to tell the story, I'm not going to tell the story.
Well, what is it? What was it? Remind me.
He said, "Oh my God, Cory, 3 hours ago you were in our hot tub, and now you're here."
Oh yes. Well, I do remember that, but you said you didn't want to bring the hot tub story up. So
what? It's a hot tub. I can't go to a hot tub.
Well, there you are.
And now we're back. And you want to tell everybody about the Rivian we have coming?
Yes. So while we were in Austin, Texas, I got a lead on a Rivian, and yes, it was an extra $50,000 to buy it, but we've had so much reaction from you, the viewing audience, that I just felt that it was important that we get it, and we'll figure out how to pay for it later on. So it's going to be, we were originally going to go out, pick it up, and drive it back home, but that's not going to work out because Cory and my schedules are just a little too tight. So it's going to be loaded up on a truck tomorrow, and it'll take 5 days to get here, and then we'll be starting to attack that truck. We'll probably drive it around a bit so that everybody that wants to get a ride in it can get the experience of driving the Rivian. Sue's not big on lending her truck out, so.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's going to work out just fine. So we'll have that, and then we'll start the tear.
Yeah. No need to do a bumper sticker fundraiser for the Rivian, but what really makes this possible is the merchandise that our supporters buy, as well as just viewing. So when our videos get 100, 200, 300,000 views, it justifies not only Sandy and my time, but our other engineers, as well as our team behind the scenes working on this. So if you're still watching the video right now and you want to go buy anything from our store, we have Sandy bobbleheads, we have laminates, we're almost out of laminates, and a bunch of other stuff. But if you use the coupon code PLAID at checkout, it's 25% off. So if you made it this far, You can get 25% off anything in the store right now. That'll help offset a little bit of the costs getting the Rivian.
Yeah.
But any final thoughts, Sandy?
No, I think we pretty much covered everything. I'm still really excited about getting the opportunity to get in and have a look at the Gigafactory. I've been to literally hundreds of car factories and supplier factories in general, hundreds, maybe thousands. I'm not sure, but I've seen a lot, and I've never seen anything quite like the Gigafactory. So again, I can't thank Rich enough for arranging a ticket. Thank you so much, Rich.
All right.
That's it. So anyways, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for when the Rivian comes in so we can show you a little bit about it and start tearing it down to have a good look at what's going on inside that car. Thanks very much. And if you were going to tell me to subscribe. Anyway, if you're in a mind for subscribing, we'd love to have you as a subscriber. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Bye-bye.